Welcome to another episode of Women Investing in Women. I am especially joy-filled and excited today to feature a very, very young lady, and lady being the operative word, because she has so much to offer the world and she makes this world a brighter spot for so many women every single day. And as we get started, I want us to take a step back and think about why Robin and I do this show. Women Investing in Women is about women all over the world of all ages, all generations, all cultures, coming together and pouring a part of them into the others so that we brighten each other's days. Women don't have it easy in life, right? We have so many responsibilities, so many things to deal with. And as we go through it, it's our sisterhood, it's our community of women who nurture us. Research shows that the success of a woman's life and the longevity of a woman's life is directly correlated to her sisterhood. And it is so important for us to showcase that, celebrate that, and invest in each other instead of competing with each other. And today we're going to talk about how younger women can invest in older women. Younger women can inspire older women. And younger women can be that catalyst to change the way the world is. And to have this conversation with me is Josie Panzica. Josie, welcome to Women Investing in Women.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I can't wait to where this conversation leads us.
We too, us too. So as we get started, I want to share with you the backstory of how I met Josie. My husband was in the hospital, critically ill, paralyzed, and I wasn't sure which way life was going to go. It had been a whole month I had been in the hospital with him, and I decided, you know what? I need to step away. I need a moment of self-care. And I scheduled an appointment to get my hair cut. Normally, I cut my own hair. I didn't have the tools with me. So I thought, you know what? Let me go and get my hair cut. There is nothing better than a haircut for a woman to make her feel like, you know what? Everything is going to be okay. And when I scheduled the appointment, they were giving me a list of all the senior people. And I said, you know what? Give me your junior person. I want your young person because I want to get to know them and I want to give them an opportunity. And there I see Josie walk by with a beautiful smile, with the kind heart. And as she was doing my hair, she and I were talking, and I was also observing how she was engaging with others. And I decided, you know what? This is a young woman we need to showcase. And Robin and I are featuring her today. And Josie, as we get this conversation off the ground, I want you to take a moment and talk to us about what your childhood was like and how it has influenced you to become the strong yet kind and compassionate young lady that you are.
Okay, sounds great. Hi, everyone. I am Josie. So my childhood definitely was a little bit rocky. It was very hard. I grew up in a single parent household. My mom had me and my brother. We are about 5.5 years apart. My childhood was hard. It was definitely, living with my aunt at one point, and then living with my grandma. And then came along, my mom had a husband. We moved in with him. And most of my childhood, I grew up feeling very alone. I grew up feeling very isolated. I did grow up a lot with my brother, of course, and all of my younger cousins were all around the same age range, or a year above or a year younger. So around the same age range. I grew up feeling very alone. I grew up feeling like no one really understood what I was going through, because my cousins, of course, all came from two-parent households. And to me, I never really thought anything of it. I just thought, this was how life was. I did go through a lot of some like fortunate events as I was older. Getting through high school was definitely very tough for me. I It was hard crossing some bridges, some that I never really thought was possible to cross, some that I didn't even know how to cross. So I was very stuck most of the time. But I feel like the love that was surrounded by me, especially by my cousins and my brother, really inspired me to push through and to keep smiling. And for me, just to really know that I don't have to be stuck in a place where I know I don't deserve to be in. I mean, of course, it's unfortunate things happen, but we don't have to be stuck in places where we know could easily consume us for the rest of our lives if we let it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And what was there a turning point or a person or multiple people where you either, whether it was a dramatic shift, like, hey, I don't have to be stuck, or whether it was a gradual awakening, but what helped you move from this place of, well, this is how my life is, to I can take action or other people can help me take action to change the trajectory of my life?
For me personally, I feel like every day it was just the inspiration of my cousins. I would wake up seeing them. I would start my day seeing them. I would end my day seeing them. It was all happiness, all smiles. We would always get along. Even if we would bicker, we would always get along. And to me, that was the most important thing for me because it was like I was one of the older cousins. So to me, what was most important was making sure I was happy and making sure they couldn't detect anything that was wrong with me. Because at the end of the day, of course, my emotions did affect them and vice versa. So to me, I feel like it was definitely a gradual shift. Junior year specifically of high school was the hardest for me ever. I did go through thoughts of suicide. I did start, and I was in full IB, so that was very hard. Full IB is not easy. I did start flunking all my classes. I'm talking like from A's, B's, going down to D's, F's, GPA just at its lowest. I talked to my counselor about dropping out. And at this point, I feel like it was more of a cry for help to where I would just openly be like, hey, I think I want to drop out. Or, I wouldn't talk about my situation, but I would just be like, I can't do this. Like, this is like, I just couldn't imagine. Of course, you go through high school knowing that junior year is your most important year. And it's at the time where I've had enough of what was happening to me. I didn't know how to tell my mom. And at the end of the day, I never did. I ended up writing a 6-page paper back to back, 6 pages back to back. And I tore out my notebook, folded it up, and I left it in my mom's purse. One day, just hoping she would see it. And that day that she seen it, she had divorced her ex-husband that same day. It was not an easy day. I still remember it. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Definitely not an easy day, very scary. But even though the world around me was crumbling, I definitely felt like I had to be there for my cousins. And I felt like that is what made me stronger in a sense. Because even if, again, my inner world was crumbling, I had no idea what was going to happen tomorrow. I didn't know if I was actually going to drop out, what was going to happen. But at the end of the day, it was going to be okay, whatever happened, because at the end of the day, I knew I was still going to go to my grandma's and I was still going to see my family and my cousins and everything was going to be okay. So I definitely always had that little bit sense of hope that I desperately hanged on to, for sure.
That is so moving, Josie. And there are so many girls who go through this in life. And research shows that in the United States, 3 out of 5 women
Mhm.
are going through this by the time they're 25. So many women have experienced this. And that is such a sad statement on the condition of our society. And a lot of times women can't talk about it. And I am so inspired by your strength. And it's true, we draw strength and hope by being there for somebody else, right? Because to be strong for somebody else, we become strong. And that is the natural feminine instinct. As you were going through this, while your inner world were crumbling and you were holding it together, what did you learn about you that surprised you and today is helping you move towards your dreams?
I think the most important thing that I learned about myself was that I can do it alone. I mean, I really looked back, and now I look back at it. Of course, it's like easier for me to talk about it. I went through like 3 times a week of therapy for years and years, and I was never fully open with anybody about what happened, not even my friends at the time. And I think what I learned about myself is that I can really get through a lot for sure, even if I was manipulated in certain ways that I look back at. I'm like, wow, like I that's crazy. Like to me, it's just crazy. Um, but I definitely feel like I'm so much more resilient than I have ever thought, for sure. I'm so much more adaptive. I can adapt to any situation. Um, and I'm definitely a reflector. Actually, graduating high school when I was going through everything, I remember breaking down to the IB coordinator when she was telling me, what is going on? Why am I flunking all my classes? Why am I not being responsive in school anymore? Why am I just different? Why am I more aggressive? Um, and I just came out and I told her, you know what? This has happened to me. I'm stuck in this situation right now, but I don't want to be stuck. I have so much more to look forward to in life. And I always had this little Josie on my shoulder all the time, and I could just picture her. She was wearing heels, she was dressed up, business casual, very pretty, the cutest purses. She was always on my shoulder telling me, don't give up. You're every day you're getting closer to her. And that was my hope. I don't know if I mean, obviously when I was younger, I thought maybe I was delusional a little bit, but I didn't care. I was at that point, I was taking anything I needed to take as a sign of hope, and it really pushed me through. And my IB coordinator at that time, she just told me how inspired she was by me, and it was definitely very an emotional time, and I was just happy that she was able to kind of recognize me and my hardships. That during graduation of high school year, from graduating from my high school, I was awarded the IB Learner Profile Reflective, and I think that's very important because that is a really big part of me, and I've definitely learned to love and accept how resilient, reflective I am, and how adaptive I am, and I'm definitely really looking forward to sharing this with every boy and girl, younger, older, anything.
That's that is an amazing story, and what courage that you had to finally share with someone, what was really happening, and then to write that letter to your mom and have those consequences that were so appropriate. How do you feel? Cass had mentioned before we started recording that you're saving money for college. And how do you feel that, like, what trajectory, what aspirations do you have for your life now? Like, what you want to study in school, what you want to bring to the world? What are some of those things, and how has your past shaped what you want to do in the future in a positive way?
So definitely growing up, I never really knew what I wanted to do, what I was good at. I just knew I loved anything science. The My cousins would be playing, and you could always find me in my grandma's kitchen table reading a thesaurus or a dictionary, or on YouTube studying supernova, studying gravity, studying really just everything. And I've always been the type of person that, of course, anyone could do anything, but if you don't know the reason why, or just the meaning behind it, there's really no point to do it. So I would always think, why does this fall faster than this? Or how is this possible and this isn't? So definitely always been just enlightened by science and anything having to do with it. But I also knew I really loved dressing up and I really loved writing my feelings. So I was always in a mix of, oh, I want to be a theoretical physicist, or I want to be a therapist, or I want to be a model. But at the end of the day, what I really came to learn about myself is that I really just wanted to make people smile. I really just wanted to make people happy. I grew up a lot of confusion around me, and my only happiness was being with my family. No matter if we were, bickering at each other, no matter what, I would rather bicker with them than anyone else, honestly. So to me, it was just amazing. At the end of the day, if I can just make someone smile, if I can just make someone happy, that's all that mattered to me, because that's how I got through a lot. I turned my pain into being funny, really, and I was always the funny person of my friend group. I just loved making, excuse me, I just loved making people happy, making people smile. And to me, that's most important, because you never know what someone's going through. And if you can at least just get them to smile, get them to forget about what's going on, that's the biggest blessing in the world. Definitely. So now moving forward, I'm I'm cutting hair right now, which I absolutely love. Definitely did not see that in my plans for the future. But you know what? I'm not mad at it. Everything happens for a reason. And I was definitely shifted in this path for a reason. And at the end of the day, if I can just talk to someone in my chair, or give them a little trim, curl their hair, and at the end of the day, if they could look back at me and smile and just look at themselves in the mirror, and I get that joy of seeing the self-love in their eye, because I know most of the time when I was younger, I didn't have that. So being able to find that within me and then sharing with other people, that is the biggest blessing ever, for sure. And that is something I hope to continue doing in the future. And if I do go back to college, I really do want to study, of course, science, but maybe now even business, and start kind of having seminars and talking to young women and boys, and to just really open up to people and let them know that it's okay to not be okay. And we don't have to sit there and sulk in what happened to us, because that doesn't define us. What is done to us, obviously we cannot control. We could only control our reaction, really. And of course that's hard. Not a lot of people are taught to react a certain way when something happens, especially when something that you would never wish to happen on anybody. A lot of people don't know how to go through that and react to that, and I've definitely been there. So I definitely want, is that as long as I can help people know that they are worth more, and know that what happens to them does not make them who they are, as long as people can know that, I am right where I want to be.
The maturity and the wisdom that comes out of you, Josie, is amazing for somebody so young.
Thank you.
And it is not just inspiring, it's very moving. And as older women hear you speak, one of the things that is coming up for me is you investing in older women, for them to understand and see and appreciate the self-love, and truly in that moment connect with themselves. That is a gift you give every day. You're not just a hairstylist. You truly are doing therapy while you're cutting hair. You don't just realize it, right? And as you have a vision for your future, how can older women like you support you, help you? Because we don't want this to be just a conversation. We want to find out What can we do as a community of women to help a young person like you? And what does that look like for you in the next 5, 10 years?
So I definitely feel like in a way that we could all help each other. Definitely just be kind, be nice. You never know what someone's going through. You never know. Of course, like you're always gonna meet somebody and have a first impression, but you never know what someone is battling or what someone is going through. And I feel like that's so important because it's not only helping me, it's helping everybody around us. Because if we could all just be helpful and more kind and just smile just a little bit more and be more understanding, I definitely feel like it starts with us. In order to help me, in order to help each other, we need to sit with ourselves and understand ourselves a lot more in order to understand other people and the world around us. And I feel like just starting there is going to help me. It's going to help you. It's going to help Robin. It's going to help everybody, older, younger, but just being open minded as well. Being open minded and knowing that we're not in the same times anymore. It's okay to feel, it's okay to have different opinions. It's okay to be okay as well. You don't always need something bad happening for you to be inspired to do something. It's okay to keep moving on and it's okay to shed light on younger and older people, honestly.
Yeah. You know, this is very interesting. I'm wondering where you've mentioned a couple of times that you didn't see something in your future and how great it is that you have it. If you could go back, I also loved your image of having a little Josie on your shoulder that was just what you wanted to be. And that is really a beautiful visual inspiration. So if you could go back to the little Josie or other little Josies that exist right now, what would you say to her in terms of helping her to stay in there to where you are now? What would you say to the little Josie?
Ah, you're making me emotional. I would definitely tell her, be strong. It's all gonna come. And I would definitely hug her. I feel like growing up, all I needed was a hug. And I feel like at the time I needed my brother the most, he wasn't there, not because he didn't want to, but because of other factors. I would definitely just give her a hug, give her a kiss, tell her she's beautiful, tell her she's not overweight, she's not weak, that things are gonna happen. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna be okay. So I would definitely tell her that. I would definitely tell her, not everything is your fault. You don't have to keep living in a cycle thinking that everything is your fault. Definitely grew up kind of being ashamed of my body. It was very hard for me I definitely was like the little rebel. If someone would tell me, like cover your chest a little more, cover your body, I would definitely be like, well, I love it and I want to show it more. And obviously, when I was older, I would do that. But when I was younger, um, it definitely tore me down for sure. Definitely made me look at myself differently, made me look at other people almost with envy, honestly, almost with envy because I would think, wow, like no one's telling them that. And I would really just go back and give younger Josie a hug, give her a kiss. And I feel like I definitely kind of reciprocate that now with my younger cousins, even because body's a body, right? No one deserves to be kind of told about their body size, what they look like, what someone doesn't like about their body, because it's all very unnecessary. It's all very hurtful. So to my cousins, I'm always treating them how I wish I would have been treated just a little bit more growing up. I always tell my cousins, you are beautiful. No matter what size you are beautiful. You are just filled with love. And I go up to them and I tell them, how was your day? What's new? What are you doing? How do you like it? How do you think you're growing from it? So definitely just think a little bit more of attention, I feel like, definitely because I did feel alone a lot. Um, and just love, a little bit more of self-love, definitely hugs. Definitely lots of hugs for little Josie and just letting her know she's loved, she's not forgotten about. Um, and even if there are people that I loved that didn't necessarily love me, that there was always someone that's gonna love me way more. So definitely, if I could go back into the other timelines and take a peek at little Josie, I would smile because I know she's gonna get there one day, for sure.
That is such a emotive picture you're painting, Josie. And yes, hugs are the most healing gift a person can give another person, and that hug has to be held for 30 to 60 seconds instead of just, an air hug and go. So it truly resonates for me. One thing I do want you to talk about, if you had the opportunity to talk to the adults who have done you wrong today, what would you want to tell them?
I feel like, and this took years of really thinking and sitting with myself and realizing it's not my fault that someone was hard on me or something. I love my family, I love it, but I feel like at certain times growing up, I was like, man, I really needed someone, and I felt like I didn't have that. But now I feel like I would tell them, I forgive you, like I don't know what you were going through at the time. You don't know what I was going through, but I forgive you. I don't know how you grew up. But it's okay. Like I forgive you for what was told or how I was treated. Um, I'll just forgive. I won't forget because it hurts for sure. It definitely hurts, but I'll forget to the extent to where I won't sulk on it anymore, and I'll know that it's not my fault anymore, and I'll know that I could break through this cycle of thinking I'm not good enough or thinking, did my past actually happen to me? Like, am I just making this up for attention? Or now as I'm older, I would give them a hug. I would give them a hug and I would tell them, this happened to me, or be like, you remember when I was little and this happened? This happened to me, and I know from my family's point of view, I come from a very strong family for sure. And that's what helps me shape who I am today. And I would tell them, do you remember the time that this happened and this happened? Well, I want you to know, like, I sat with it and it's okay. Like, it's okay. It happened to me. And I know I was being told, don't think about it. Just pretend that it all didn't happen. Pretend that it was fake. To me at the time, it was hard. And that's what stuck to me a lot. That, like, how can I pretend this such traumatic thing didn't happen? And I felt like I was stuck in one place and everything was spinning so fast around me, and I was just seeing everything and everything just go past me, just being stuck, not knowing how to deal with it, not knowing how to cope. And I feel like that's when I started going in a downward spiral, especially with school, with relationships, friendships, just everything. And I would definitely go up to the people that were in my life during that time and hug them and tell them thank you for protecting me as best as you knew you could. And thank you for showing me that I could be stronger, even though it was a lot of tough love. Just thank you for showing me that I could be stronger for sure. And I would hug them because at the end of the day, what they were telling me had nothing to do with me and everything to do about them. And now it makes me realize maybe they went through something similar. Maybe they just didn't know how to react. Maybe they didn't know what to say because seeing that their little niece was having such a hard time. Even for me, I don't have nieces or nephews, but if I did, I wouldn't know how to deal with it. I wouldn't, to be honest. And all I really can do is forgive them and tell them thank you for just doing the best that you could at that time.
This is amazing wisdom that you've shared that many adults need to learn and hear. And Cass and I are always so amazed that 25 minutes flies by. And in fact, more than 25 minutes flies by. And is there a way we can get a hold of you? I know you're young, just kind of getting started, a way we can get a hold of you. And one last tiny nugget before we have to sign off.
So definitely you could get a hold of me by my LinkedIn account. Dr. Kashuri would definitely have that linked below for anyone that wants to reach out to me. I really look forward to it. I definitely hope this inspires boys and girls everywhere, no matter the age. I would love to talk to everyone. And I feel like a little piece of advice that I would give before I go is definitely keep your head up, for sure. If you're looking for any little thing to stay motivated, I'm telling you, grab that smallest piece of hope, anything you could find, even if it's the most silliest thing ever. If you have to be delusional to find that little piece of light, do it. Because I grew up telling myself and my friends, telling me as I got older, don't let your crown fall. And my crown is always on my head. Even if you can't see it, I do. And she's big and shiny and beautiful, just how I like it. So always tell yourself, always keep something in your head to make sure you're doing everything you can to move forward, not only for your cousins, for your family, but for your future, for future you. Imagine your future and really think how you want your life to turn out. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for sure. But at the end of the day, I promise it's worth it. It's always, always worth it. Hang on to yourself, believe in yourself, love yourself, really sit down and understand yourself. Really just be with yourself, because I promise at the end of the day, you are going to love you more than you did yesterday. It's going to be worth it.
Thank you so much, Josie, for this very emotional and yes, wisdom-filled 25 minutes. We've had, I would go on a limb and say it's very hard to find adults with this amount of wisdom about things that truly are heartbreaking. And the fact that you exhibit it is truly a sign of who you are as a person, as a soul. And we look forward to staying in touch with you. We look forward to celebrating you. And as we bring this to a close, I want this to end with your nugget of wisdom. Ladies, regardless of your age, wherever you are in life, keep your crown on your head, keep it straight, keep it tall, and take pride in the fact that you are going to be okay, and this too shall pass. And in the spirit of true supportive womanhood, we also ask you to step out of your comfort zone and adjust another woman's crown if it's about to fall, because we owe it to each other to truly lift each other up.